My name is Jeff Epstein, and my organization is Citizen Media TV. It's primarily a Facebook page where we share progressive Bernie Sanders kind of stuff. I did investigative journalism for a year. I live stream public governmental meetings, and I have a podcast. I want to just show you step by step what it was like to encounter this person, and I want to mostly do that around his quotes to me, what he said to me. I want to give you a feeling of what it was like to encounter this person. I can't read all of it because there is just so much. You should go and see all the screenshots for yourself to give you proper context. So in October of 2016, this person liked my page and then on the same day wrote me a message, private message to my page, and suggested a link about some private corruption related to environment or something. And I shared it on my page. And then he said that he had a significant environmental story in my state if I was interested. And I said I was interested. So he said, quote, I have to look it up. If you give me a day, I'll write up an opinion and then you can source it from there. So I gave him a big thumbs up. Facebook Messenger gives you a way that you can give a little graphical thumbs up. And 24 hours later, he wrote me, quote, I'll make sure not to share any more info. Thanks. He said he was going to write this opinion and give me the information. So I don't understand why he was doing that. He just kept talking, and then he started talking about how much environmental activism that he has done. And he also talks negatively about prominent environmentalists and journalists. Quote, I made a short film. Petitions were run. I literally walked into the Region 5 EPA for the film, and then when the cause was at its boiling point, I passed it on to the media, Michael Moore, Erin Brockovich, Amy Goodman, NBC Universal, LA Times, New York Times, local newspapers, independents, and they all left me standing there by myself. None of them helped me or my community, which has a toxic waste site in it. Not to mention I have 5 neurological disorders from exposure to chemicals. They left me there alone, and then the wolves devoured me. So he kept going on and on and on. This was a lot of stuff. Some more. Quote, I'm years ahead of these people, and in spite of them, I proliferated myself and earned 1 million individual readers on my main article. This is because of all of them, I'm the only one who actually stands for something real. Of Brockovich, Moore, Goodman, and Berdyck, I'm the only one who doesn't make any money from my work. My life is privately funded by people at Facebook. I spend $100,000 a year fighting, and I've never received a dime in return. 3 pages of one day of stuff that he just kept on talking about. So I did not respond to that. 24 hours later, he wrote, quote, so then you don't like the truth either. Nice. So that is the second guilt trip in 2 days. I get a lot of private messages to this page, and some are just sharing links, some are, they just want to talk. But it doesn't bother me. And it takes a lot for me to block somebody. And it is really rare that I have blocked someone from my page. But now it was starting to turn a little uncomfortable. The second guilt trip in 2 days. I think if I had the chance to do this again, that this is the point where I probably would have taken a stand. And I didn't. But now, knowing who this person is, I don't think it mattered what I did because he just chose me. So I said, I find what you say interesting, and I would like to hear as much as you want to tell me, and forgive me for not responding as quickly as I might otherwise. So he kept going on and on again. So this is another 3 pages of text. So quote from this. And by the way, in my career, over 500,000 miles of travel, 1,500 cities over 5 years, fighting battles in local governments, polluters, the EPA, the Department of Defense, media outlets, other activists. I have never been arrested. I had enough arrests in my 20s to learn how to obey the law. Google my name. Look at the $10,000 a month search engine optimization retaliation campaign that is being run about me by an internet vigilante group. Plot twist. That's not my criminal record. Those aren't my words. I have not been arrested for the things they say I have. And I have evidence Erin Brockovich and several of her friends are directly behind this campaign. You see, I know things about Erin. Terrible things. And if they got out, she would be done. So again, during these 2.5 pages, I responded a little bit just to acknowledge what he was saying. But then he responded 3 days later and said, quote, "So then you're just as corrupt as the media you claim to fight. I see you repeatedly supporting these pipeline protests and these activists who I have shown are straight criminals. So that leads me to one conclusion. You're a hypocrite, and you're definitely not a journalist, not in any way, but just another blind fool supporting other blind fools. Have fun destroying the planet and understand that you're no better than polluters." So now this was too much, and I said, this is extra. I do this for free. I have a life outside of this page, and if you want to help in any way, feel free to help, but something is off here. This is not comfortable anymore. But he continued talking and went on for a couple more pages. I acknowledged a little bit more. And then the next day, completely out of the blue, he wrote me the following. Quote, "You want a fucking war? Bring up Google again and I'll invade your fucking life and drop you in your fake ass misinformation outlet. And God as my witness, if you attack me with lies, I'll sue you for every penny you'll ever earn. Try me." And then I said, "I have no clue what you are talking about. What are you talking about?" And he said, "Fuck you. I have it screen capped. You just fucking threatened me. I'm a nice guy until you fucking threatened me using the words of a polluter, no less. And then the gloves come off." And so I asked him again what it was, and he showed me a screenshot, and what he showed me was a post that was on my page. And that post was about a woman who was a protester in North Dakota for the No DAPL, NODAPL pipeline. And she was shot in the eye with a rubber bullet and lost her eye. And so what this person wrote as a comment on that post was the following. "Good. I hope it hurt. These people are fucking up the entire activism community, eating up resources, leaving communities all over the country with no one to fight for them over a pipeline that might leak sometime in the future while raising awareness of something everybody already knows. If there were a way I could donate more rubber bullets, I would." And so this is what upset him. There was a comment in response to that by a friend. He has done live streams for me in other states. So he responded upset about that, saying, "You're uninformed. And Google is right there." So he said, "I don't doubt someone as poorly informed as you and whatever. Google is right there," all caps. And how I took it as is that you could do a simple search and you wouldn't be misinformed. So yeah, it was rude and disrespectful, but that's not abuse. That's just responding without being upset. But the problem was that when my friend responded to this as a comment, because he has permissions on my page, the comment appeared to come from the page itself and not from him as an individual. So I believe that this person believed that it came from me. So I said, I agree it was unreasonable and disrespectful, and I am sorry. However, I do not find it abusive, and I said, I'll be honest, I think you're a hothead. And so he responded with, quote, Okay then, so we're going to add you to our documentary about corrupt media outlets. I think you know nothing about me. I think that people have threatened me enough with Google, and considering that I was attacked by Google security 2 years ago, that was a very clear threat that has been lobbed at me 500,000 times. Hothead? I had my life, career, and family destroyed by Google. So when someone brings up Google, it's very clear they're threatening to cause more harm, and the person who put that stuff there has threatened to kill both of my children. So if you want to join a group that so viciously abused my children, then expect retaliation. As long as you deny the threat, you are our enemy. It's your outlet. You are responsible for everything that is published on your page. That's how being the leader works. Your media outlet threatened me. You'd also be mistaken to assume that people don't know who I am. I sign autographs quite frequently. Also, you're lying. Or can't you keep your story straight? And honestly, since I'm disabled for having post-traumatic stress disorder, you calling me a hothead is intensely discriminatory. Do you always try to emotionally abuse people with PTSD? And so, then this was done. I said, I need to leave this conversation now. This is way beyond appropriate response. And that was when I decided to ban him, but not before he had the chance to do one more final monologue. And here's a quote. Okay, see you with the camera. I don't have a serious temper, but since you're being abusive, understand we're coming for you and we won't rest until you're exposed. We'll find you. My film record demonstrates very clearly we'll find you. And when we do, we are going to blast you all over this country as a corrupt and abusive media outlet that threatens activists and discriminates against people with PTSD. We own you now. By the way, you fucking idiot, I haven't raised my voice to another human being in over 10 years, and I'm known very much for being cool as an ice cube, which is why you see images of me with television stars out to dinner at $200 a plate restaurants filled with DC Power players. I think you have looked me up and you mistake fake profiles impersonating me. I think you have invaded my privacy and violated my boundaries. I think twice in this conversation you've accused me of having a serious temper, when anyone who knows me knows that I'm the most chill human being on the planet. You set foot in DC, and you belong to me. And really, you're a serious piece of shit. Sit there and allow someone to threaten my career, using the words of someone who threatened to kill both of my children, and then claim I have a temper for letting you know that you are not going to participate in threatening me? You only say it wasn't a threat because if you did, then you'd have to admit that all your abuse and criticism of me was just that. So this is how it works. You have established you are an enemy to my work, and you use the words of a polluter to do it. And as a result, until you fix this, you are on our list, and that's that. I'm not a journalist. I'm an activist and a soldier. And if you want to draw lines in the sand, prepare for your loud public shaming. My business partner works for Facebook, and you have been internally reported for harassment. Also, we're coming for you. I'll see you soon. And then the rest of this is in all caps. I'm the person who exposed the diamond pipeline and started these causes, you asshole. You attack me on one post and then steal my work on the next? Maybe you need to ask someone who the fuck I am, because if you really want to see me lose my patience, you'll get it. And so I banned him. The stealing his cause that he's referring to, long before I ever knew him, 3 months before he wrote his first message to me, I gave permission to someone to live stream the Diamond Pipeline protest in Arkansas. And they used my channel to do that. And they also sent me some links about that pipeline, and I shared those links on my page. I didn't write anything about it. I just shared the links. And according to him, because he discovered that problem, there was that pipeline or something, that he originated the first protests against it, that it was his cause. Of my sharing any articles about that protest is stealing his cause. So there was one other thing that he did before I had the chance to ban him, and that was to write a terrible review on my page. So this was the first 1-star review that I had, and at that point it was about a year, and he wrote a really terrible review saying that I called him mentally ill and that he needed to be locked up in an institution, which was just not words that I ever used. I told him that he was a joke, which was a word that I never used, and that I stole his cause, and he went on and on and on and on, that I threatened people and bully disabled people, and so on, and that all of the wonderful work that he's done. And he also left really terrible comments on many other good reviews. So finally he was banned. And then almost immediately after, he found another one of my pages completely unrelated. And he private messaged that page and he said, quote, "Got you. Now I know who you are and where you live. And so would you like us to expose you in your own community? Because we can have a media campaign exposing you for attacking an environmentalist in less than 10 minutes. Also, I could get in my car and be there in your face with a camera in less than 4 hours. This is your last warning. Stop bullying me. You are a traitor to the health and safety of U.S. citizens. You are a traitor to activists, and you are not a journalist. And if you'd like us to come after you in your professional career, keep doing what you're doing. I filmed you deleting my comments, by the way, about my cause, the Diamond Pipeline, which you would know about if it wasn't for me." So I banned him from that page, but again, he got some nasty comments and some posts on that page. Then he found a fundraiser, a GoFundMe that I had used a long time ago. And he made a terrible comment on my fundraiser, and then he sent a private message to me through my fundraiser. And the private message that I got was, I received it in email, and the full message was, quote, "See you soon. You steal from me, I end your career." So that was pretty much the end of it, finally. And then a few weeks later, someone who likes my page wrote me and said, "Who is this guy? He's bothering me." So that person wrote to the person who likes my page, who I had no clue who she was. We had never heard of each other before. I don't know how he found her. Maybe finding a comment or something. So he said to her, "Are you part of this organization?" And she said, "Yes," meaning to her, I click the like button and I read their stuff regularly. So this person said to her, "I'd love to have an interview with you about your journalist bullying me, threatening me, and harassing me. I don't know who the fuck you people think you are, but you picked the wrong fucking person to start a war with. And then you have the nerve to publish my work all over your page while you're harassing me?" And this went on for 8 pages. So he just picked some random person who likes my page just to harass them. So finally, that was it for 2016. And I blocked him, and luckily he just decided to stop bothering me. And I have to say that I was genuinely scared for a few days. I had never heard of this person, and he talked with authority and said all these grand things that he was doing and could do and planned on doing. And, that's what he seems to get off on. So then I searched about him, and I found this is what he does. This is what he had been doing for years. This is just like a game for him. So in a way, it made it less scary, and that's him at his most powerful. And when he corners somebody in private, especially if they're good-natured, that's when he's at his most vicious. And I found just an unbelievable amount of information from him. And he said early on that, plot twist, those aren't my words, that's not my criminal record. And it seems to really be his words and his criminal record based on his behavior with me. So, in a way, it made it less scary because it seems like he just says these things to everyone. And in a way, it's like, this guy is serial. It's like, wow, it's like he spends a lot of his time doing this. He can't be this. It's like he's like a cartoon supervillain. That's what he wants to see. It seems like he wants to come across as. And you can't do that extreme stuff to as many people as he does it to. So in a way, it makes it a little less scary. But in another way, it's like, this seems to be his life. He does this to people because it's fun. So that was all for 2016. And then 2 years later, I got a private message. And it was a link from this person, apparently in another Facebook account, because I had banned him. So he sent me a link to the screenshot from 2016. I had put them on Imgur, imgur.com. And I thought they were private. Obviously, they weren't private, and he found them. So he sent that link, and he wrote me, quote, "This is what you do to activists? Or are you behind this censorship campaign? I guess it would be safe to assume that you're one of the people that broke into my house, threw trash all over my yard, and damaged my BMW, because this blog has the photos that were taken by the intruder. This is the same blog spreading rumors in communities that I had STDs. I don't, by the way, but everywhere I go, this rumor is spread about me. And then finally, I repeat, I'm to assume you're associated with the person that broke into my home?" I didn't respond at all. I just immediately banned him. But before I could ban him, he also did another terrible review, the second one-star review I've ever received, both from him, where he said, among a whole lot of stuff, he said, "If you even have a minor disagreement with this outlet, you too can become the victim of a crime." So I banned him immediately. I didn't respond at all. And then a couple of days later, he wrote me an email. Quote, "We're preparing to run a campaign exposing you for being complicit with the following group. It's been exposed that the blogs you are posting are fake. As a result, if you'd like to be exposed in your own hometown for harassment and breaking into my home, I can make that happen. We're going to create a geo-targeted campaign in your city and expose your felony break-in, in which there are police reports. I'm sorry for fucking with you. You have been exposed, and a federal investigation has been launched for wire transfer fraud. You've been named." And that was it. That was the last I heard from him. I didn't respond at all. I blocked him as best as I could. And he found those screenshots. And also, that was around the same time as something called MB Victim Resources was created. So I don't know how that relates to it, but clearly, it probably wasn't a coincidence. That was the last time that I heard from him, and hopefully is the last time that I will hear from him. I blocked him as best as I can. Clearly, because of this interview, I, should expect to hear something. I hope someday something happens, because this has been going on for a really long time, and there doesn't seem to be any consequences. Everything stated in this interview by me, Jeff Epstein, is true to the best of my recollection, and under penalty of perjury, I hereby am willing to testify in court to all of these things.